Hello, class. I know that with my previous topics, they have been somewhat silly in nature, but for this one, I'm going to be covering something of a more serious note than before. The topic I have decided to cover is something that I believe that impacts all of us, and it's not only a skill that is dying, but also we are losing it, and that skill is face-to-face communication. For starters, my reference are theodysseyonline.com, today.co.uk, and psychologytoday.com. This skill is important to all of us, and it allows us to be able to express ourselves and simply talk to one another. But also, it allows us to be able to hold a conversation. Communication is a dying art form that we are losing every day. The reason why we are losing this skill is because we are replacing it with technology such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, text, FaceTime, and other various apps that allows us to communicate through our phones or computers. But it's not us that are harmed by this, but the newer generation that are growing up without developing any types of communication skills. With our communication skills dying off, it's not just hurting our ability to speak with one another, but our relationships as well. We are more concerned with how many pictures, likes, and shares that we have with our friends that we barely get to know them on another level. But it's not just our friendships that is being harmed by the lack of communication, but our love life as well. We would rather have an abundant amount of text with each other than sit face to face and tell each other about our day and express how we feel about each other to each other. But it's not just our social life that is being hurt due to the loss of communication skills, but our careers as well. For example, let's say you're a manager in a manager position and you have no communication skills whatsoever. Not only will you be unable to communicate with your staff, explaining what you need from them and how to do things properly, you will be shown no respect from them. But what makes things worse is that this skill is one of the most basic skill that we have, and it is becoming more and more harder to use. Not only are we finding it harder to communicate with each other, but simpler to just communicate through the phone via text, FaceTimes, and other apps. But we are also finding it even easier just to communicate with the phone itself via Siri or Cortana. If things don't change, not only are we going to become unable to communicate with each other and lack any kind of speaking skills whatsoever, but we are going to have a generation of lost voices that are going to have no communication skills whatsoever to be able to perform the most simplest of tasks, such as communicating with your bus driver, communicating with your teachers, or even just talking to the clerk working at the register in the supermarket. If you are wondering if you are one of the people losing your communication skills, just ask yourself, have you ever sat down for lunch and began talking to your friends and start to have an excellent conversation? And as soon as that conversation begins to slow down, do you just sit in silence and wait for the next conversation to pick up so you can start laughing once again? Or do you simply go to your phone and start looking at Instagram? If yes, then I have some bad news for you. So, next time you are spending time with friends and family and you have an urge to look at your phone, try to just put it down and spark a new conversation instead. You may actually find something new that you didn't know about them before, and show the new generation that it's much more easier to talk to people than they actually think it is. Thank you for taking the time to watch my speech on face-to-face communication. Not only do I hope you have an excellent night, but congratulations to the class for passing this course. Thank you, and have an excellent good time. Bye.